So I'll be sharing with you this diagram of the workflow of how a pure water factory is set up. So this image was sent to me by a prospect. He watched some of my videos on YouTube and he took the step in actually designing a business plan for setting up his own pure water factory. So I'll be sharing with you the image. You'll see it on the screen here. And we'll be going through what he listed out here, the boxes. And he also sent this to me before he actually published, or should I say finalized this image. But I went through it and I actually liked the way he organized the flow chart. So if you are thinking of setting up your own pure water factory, I feel this image should serve as a guideline, or it should help you understand how various equipment, various items in the factory or various sections in the factory are organized, so that it will help you better understand how to go about setting up your own business plan and understanding how to build your own factory. So the first section here will be starting from the top left. You see there, the first section is the water source. Like I always say, your source of water is very important when it comes to setting up your own pure water factory. Now, depending on your location, you might be in an area where the ground there yields a lot of water, or you might be in the region whereby water is somehow scarce to find. Like from our own personal example, there was one time we wanted to set up a water factory at a town called Angwan Zakara in Nasarawa State. And when we got there, the land was shown to us that, okay, this place will be a good place to set up a water factory. And quite all right, the land is close to the road, close to the main road. So we were really excited about it because we won't have to cover much distance. We won't have to, stress our vehicles when delivering water. So when they showed us the place, we went there, and funny enough, one of our management team, someone just randomly suggested, why not we survey this area to see if they'll be able to drill a borehole here that will actually yield water. So that's when the idea came. I think that time we are just new into this whole pure water business thing and we're still trying to navigate our way. Although that's not our first factory, but that particular land wanted to establish another water factory there. So we called the team of surveyors. They came. In short, they're the same people that drilled the first borehole for our factory. So they came for the second time with their equipments and everything. So they went there. We went there with them, went around the field. It's a big field, and they did their own survey. Well, to our surprise, or should I say to little to no surprise, we discovered that the land there is not able to yield water. Ensure enough water that can be used for pure water production. And there is also another factory in that same area where we heard that the factory shut down because their borehole stopped giving them water. They even drilled like four boreholes in the compound, but still there was no water. So because of cases like this, it's always advisable that you check your source of water and make sure that where you'll be establishing your borehole, it will be in a place whereby you have enough water for your bottled water or your pure water production. So the next thing you see there, after the water source, you see submersible pump. So this pump is the pump that will draw water from your water source, that's from your borehole or from your tap water anywhere you are. This pump will draw the water to the next image there, which is your raw water tank. So the raw water tank is the tank that you use to store the raw water. It's as simple as that. So depending on the size of your factory, I've seen people have like three raw water tanks. People have like four raw water tanks, and so on. So depending on the size of your factory, you can go for a big tank. Usually, I'll even advise if you are operating a pure water factory, just go for the biggest tank you can afford when it comes to raw water, because it will get to a point whereby they will need water in the semi water tank semi-treated tank, and if you don't have enough raw water to process and send to the semi-treated tank, it will slow down your production. So it is advisable that your raw water tank at least should be big enough. We currently use Heart tank for our raw water tank, and we have about three raw water tanks, one big one and two, should I say, medium sized. I'll still need to reconfirm the sizes of the tanks. But long story short, just get a big tank that will be enough for you to store raw water as much as possible. So moving from your raw water tank, the next section is your sediment filter and activated carbon filter. This is your water filtration slash pretreatment section. So in your water factory, you have your sediment filter and your carbon filter. There's also the rising. There are three. Some use two, some use three. So I think that also too depends on the kind of water in your location. So the engineers will recommend the kind of treatment process which will be suitable depending on the results of the lab analysis of your water. So you will need the sediment filter and the activated carbon filter as your pretreatment stage. So after the water has passed through this water filters, this water treatment section, the water will go to your semi-treated tank. And from that semi-treated tank is another tank, but why they call it semi-treated is because it has passed through this first stage of treatment. That's through the activated carbon and the sediment filter. You understand? So when the water has passed through this stage, it will come to your semi-treated. So that's why we call it the semi-treated tank. From there, it will pass through the reverse osmosis machine. This is also another treatment section. Then from there, from the reverse osmosis machine, the reverse osmosis machine has its own pump to draw the water. Once the water passes through the machine, to go to the treated tank. So it's from this treated tank you have the ozone generator above this treated tank. Now, what the ozone generator does is it preserves the quality of your water. If you want your water to have a longer shelf life, especially for bottled water, because at least from my own experience, from my own personal experience, bottled water lasts a lot longer, or people keep bottled water much longer than pure water. In most cases, pure water are consumed within with 48 hours, 48 to 72 hours. So let's say you produce pure water in your factory now. That water you produce today, within 72 hours, at least 80% of that water is gone out of your factory. So, you can't say the same for pure water, for bottled water, sorry. Bottled water, sometimes people keep bottled water longer. They keep it in maybe storehouses, fridges, or they keep it ahead of time for an event or occasion. So people usually keep bottled water. It has a longer shelf life, and even when it comes to sales, people buy more of pure water. That's at least from our own experience than the bottled water. It's not as if bottled water doesn't move, but we are talking about shelf life here. That's how long people keep pure water versus bottled water. People tend to consume pure water much more quicker and earlier than the bottled water. So that's why you need that ozone generator. Regardless of if you are producing pure water or bottled water, you can have the ozone generator so that at least your water will have a longer shelf life. So apart from that, once you are done with that, you have the UV sterilizer. So what this UV sterilizer does is it actually treats the water before it gets to the sealing machine. And accompanying the UV sterilizer, there's also the microfiltration. So this microfiltration, these filter cartridges also help in treating the water at various points in the factory before it is actually sealed and packaged to the market. So after the microfiltration, we have the sealing machine. This is the main pure water machine itself, and this machine does the pure water filling and sealing. And usually around this area, we have an operator that's in the packaging section. You see he colored the three sections, that's the three boxes, he colored them purple. In this section, we should have an operator here. So the operator observes the sealing machine. He does the hand packaging, that's 20 per bag. And if it is for bottled water, the operator there also does the heat seal. So this is when they put the bottles through the shrink wrapping machine, or you manually use the hot gun sealing machine to seal and package the bottled water. But that's for bottled water. So at the end of all this, the water is transferred to the warehouse, and from the warehouse, it is distributed to the market. So generally, this diagram here, or this image, is just showing us a visual representation of the workflow and the process of how pure water is actually produced, how it is actually sourced, produced, packaged, and distributed to the market.